Sean, as we talk about, as we're targeting working with our telco partners, one of the things that always kind of comes up is why should the Dell sellers actually partner with telcos as we start looking at delivering Dell solutions? Do you have some thoughts around that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the short answer is it would let you go broader and deeper into your account. So why? It's because you have this continuum, and operators have a very important part to play. They're very good at building, managing, running networks. Not to mention they have spectrum, which you're not going to do much unless you live in very specific geographies where there's liberalized access to spectrum. But if you go back to that idea of a continuum, you've got your client device, your edge compute, you've got connectivity within the four walls of your business, then you've got macro connectivity that you can roam onto from your business. And I think that telcos do have a lot to offer, but to get deeper into these enterprises and to really deliver value, to deliver outcomes, that partnership approach is going to be key.
Yeah, and I think from a Dell perspective, I think indeed these type of conversations when we're looking at AI, at 5G, I think it is all important about this business outcome conversation. And I do think indeed from a relationship perspective, why not make use and benefit from the fact that both sides have a relationship with these accounts. And we do need to combine the strength in order to get the customer comfortable on this journey, I guess.
I think some of those impediments around AI, you boil it down to cost, risk, and complexity. That's applicable a little more broadly. It's not just the AI tool that your worker touches, but it's the entire back end behind that supports your query or whatever your application is. And telecoms have a lot of expertise in that connectivity piece. And they do have a lot of long-term pre-existing relationships with very large enterprises as well as with small to medium-sized businesses, which it's not overlooked that market. There's a lot to be done there. So I think that partner-led approach really lets you put a full suite of products in front of your customers of all different sizes.
No, I think it's a good point. And as we go in together with with the same story, it's more powerful with a Dell and the service provider being able to do that, right? And really kind of bring that in, to Hyun's point about bringing that business outcome.
Yeah, I mean, your service providers are calling on the accounts, you're calling on the accounts, and you're both winning business. But I think if you think of it as a Venn diagram, there's a little bit of an overlap to be had, and that's kind of where we marry up edge compute, connectivity, AI, everything else.
So maybe at the event, you've talked to a lot of enterprises. What are the things that they were most excited about, or what keeps them up at night?
Well, I mean, the productivity gains and the efficiency gains that you can get with AI are very clear. The need to invest and invest quickly, very clear. The complexity of it and the skill sets required to do it in-house, that's a tough ask. So it's gonna be done with support from experts like Dell, like your service provider partners.
I think that's key, right?
Sense.
Especially with the service providers where their business has been managed services for so long, and they have all of those business processes in place, as you said. Bring the technologies from Dell to that with the expertise of the managed services, the type of offerings from the telcos.
Yeah, I mean, radio is difficult. It's not something you can just stand up in-house and it's like, oh yeah, we've got a team of experts in managing and deploying networks over here now. Doesn't really work like that. So you're gonna depend on your operator there. Add in the additional complexity of the back-end systems you need to put AI in your workers' hands. You're gonna have to rely on your partners.
Is there any other examples that you're seeing in the, maybe by industry that you thought were, with some of the announcements or even some of the, some of the ISVs or partners here that really kind of drew your attention to say this is a great partnership to go to market together with Dell?
Boy, computer vision is an interesting one. I think the applications of that just barely scratching the surface today. It's almost like creativity is the outer limit there, but I mean for manufacturing, quality assurance, for commercial real estate, access control. And those are just two easy ones that everybody needs, and you can make them better, you can do it faster, and you can do it in a much more invisible way. And I think that's the kind of thing we're going to start with these use cases that are a little obvious, and we're going to make them better. Then we're going to get to the more complex ones, and that value is going to start to compound.
And I think that's a great point, because what we're working with, as we, back to the idea of business outcomes and stuff as well, we've got partners that are validated on the ISV side, right? And we're working with our global industries teams that they bring that expertise, and you tie that back to conversations about the connectivity that the telcos could bring, the service providers, and the managed offerings. I think it's a very strong combination.
Yeah, it's an exciting time to be in telco, and it's an exciting time to be at Dell Tech World, because there's a lot to unpack here, and I think there's going to be a really long tail of interest in terms of Dell and service providers really addressing some of the fundamental problems that enterprise customers are facing.
Very good.
Thank you so much,
Yes,
Sean.
thank you, Sean. Appreciate your insights. Thank you.